Shalom Mashpaka. Asha Shabbat. May peace, serenity, and prosperity be multiplied into you all. Okay, we're going to get straight to it. I mentioned to you all in a previous live stream that we were going to touch on the origins of this paganistic day that's coming up in a few days, that many in the world are blindly celebrating and willfully celebrating. And we're going to go ahead and unmask this day that the world is so joyful about and paying homage to. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and go to my source and read the information accordingly. So the source I'm going to is clickondetroit.com. It's a news site. And the title of this article is, "What's the Origin of Valentine's Day?" Here's the dark and mysterious story. How did Valentine's Day become so lovely? So we're going to read through this and expose some of these origins. And then we're going to cut it all up with the precepts from our holy manuscript. Let's begin. And it reads, Valentine's Day, the holiday made for a Hallmark movie. At least that's what it seems like now, but it wasn't always so closely associated with roses and teddy bears. The origins of the holiday are a bit darker than the hearts and chocolate that mark the day now. Although tracing the exact origin of the holiday is a bit murky, Saint Valentine, sorry, I'm getting twisted up here. They got a lot of stuff inside of the article that breaks up the reading. My apologies. But it says here, here's a look at how we got here. So they begin to talk about Saint Valentine, right? And it reads, starting with the holiday's namesake, Saint Valentine's story is a bit of a mystery. So the Catholic Church had at least 3 different saints named either Valentine or Valentina, all martyred. Some say Valentine was a priest during the 3rd century of Rome. As the legend goes, according to history, Emperor Claudius II decided that single men were better soldiers than those with wives and families. So he outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine felt this was an injustice, so he defied Claudius and continued to He continued to perform marriages in secret. When Claudius found out, he ordered Valentine to be put to death. Another theory is that it was Saint Valentine of Terni, a bishop who was the true inspiration behind the holiday. He was beheaded by Claudius II. And it reads here, isn't this just so romantic? Next subtitle, Pagan Festival. Another darker theory behind the holiday takes us to the ancient pagan festival in February called Lupercalia, celebrated possibly pre-Roman from February 13th to February 15th. The men and NRP profile reports sacrificed a goat and a dog and then whipped women with the hides of the animals they had just slain. Young women would apparently line up for this because they believed it would make them fertile. Reading on, it also included a matchmaking lottery where young men drew names of women from a jar and would be coupled up for the festival or beyond it, often ended in marriages. Okay, so far we read about Saint Valentine. I don't even want to call him a saint. There's no way he was a saint. We'll get into that though. Saint Valentine and the pagan festival. So just summarizing what we read here. This guy Valentine, right? He moved off his own understanding and went against his ruler, Claudius II. He started marrying soldiers, right? The young soldiers started marrying them. So basically, he was doing it all in the name of love, right? And he got beheaded for doing so. He got beheaded for doing so. So basically, the whole reason for celebrating is celebrating this false prophet by the name of Valentine, right? That's what they're doing. They're having you pay homage to a false Valentine, a false prophet by the name of Valentine, right? Because he got killed in the name of love. He wanted to get all these soldiers married because, Claudius II outlawed marriage for young soldiers because he believed they did better as soldiers being single men than married men with families. All right, so basically that's how you have Valentine's Day. It's after a false prophet. He moved off his own understanding and went against Claudius II by his own understanding, right? In the name of love, right? And got beheaded, but they calling him a martyr. Okay, so that's the gist of that. And then the second subcategory being a pagan festival. We learn here that men sacrifice goats or dogs and then whip women with the hides of those goats and dogs. And the women lined up to be whipped with these animal hides because they believed it would make them fertile. And they did this all by a lottery drawing, right? They did a lottery or a matchmaking lottery. And those young men would draw the names of women from a jar and would be coupled up for the festival or beyond it. So, if you did matchmaking lottery, man, there was a whole bunch of fornication going on with that, man. That's not how you pair up with nobody. That's not the appropriate godly way to pair up in marriage by doing a lottery drawing. No, they were just drawing names and going and fornicating. That's what they were doing. They were having free-for-alls. They're keeping it PG, but we all know what they were doing, especially if they went to the extent of sacrificing goats and dogs and whipping women with the hides and the women willingly participating because they felt like it was going to make them fertile. So we see all the folly behind this just by reading this article here. We see all the folly behind this. Okay, continuing on. Lupercalia is mentioned in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, when Mark Antony is told by Caesar to whip his wife in the hope that she will become fertile. The festival was eventually outlawed at the end of the 5th century when Pope Jealousus. I don't care. I butchered the name. So Jealous the First deemed it unchristian and declared February 14th as Saint Valentine's Day. But it wasn't associated with love until much later. Third subtitle is Where is the Love? And it reads, the first mention of Valentine's Day being associated with love is a mention in the 1375 poem, Parliament of Five, by Geoffrey Chaucer. For this was sent on St. Valentine's Day, when every fowl cometh there to choose his mate. In England, Chaucer noted birds coupled off to mate in February, and soon the Europeans began sending love notes during bird mating season. Okay, so here we go. We're identifying that this day is also mimicking the mating season of birds. So you got a whole bunch of humans acting like animals, mocking animals, and trying to be in sync with the mating season of birds. Do you see the folly here? Do we see the folly? So when you celebrate Valentine's Day, you're also supporting all this folly behind it, because what we're reading are the foundations of what we know of the pagan day as it is now. Continuing on. Though Chaucer's mention of Valentine's Day in this poem is also disputed, some think he was referring to the fest day of Saint Valentine of Genoa. The oldest known Valentine, yes, like the ones you used to pass out in class in the 4th grade, dates back to the 1400s. Slowly but surely, Valentine's Day started getting sweeter. Continuing the reading. Shakespeare romanticized Valentine's Day in his work, and it began to really take off in Britain and in Europe. Eventually, it made it over to the New World. And then boom, Hallmark hit the map in 1913 and started mass producing Valentine's Day cards. The rest, as they say, is history. All right, so we got capitalism. So capitalism has also shown up here through the likes of Shakespeare and Hallmark, right? Hallmark making the Valentine's Day cards, Shakespeare, producing it in poems and theater. Yeah, so that's the capitalism that we're seeing here. So moving on to the next subtitle. What about Cupid? Cupid, the winged baby of love that we think of, was known to the Greeks as Eros, the god of love. He wasn't as adorable. There are conflicting accounts of Cupid's lineage. Some describe him as the son of Nyx and Erebus, or Aphrodite and Ares, or even Aphrodite and Zeus, who would have, who would have been both his father and grandfather. Oh my gosh. In Greek mythology, Cupid played with emotions and was irresistible to both man and God, lowercase g. But later on, Cupid will be depicted as a playful, mischievous child, the one we picture today. And we don't picture none of that around here. See, it's been revealed that Cupid is a devil. This is a devil. All right, so like I told you in the previous live stream, when you see these little naked midgets with wings and bow and arrows with hearts at the tip of the arrows. This is nothing but devils. Cupid is a devil. You know, and that's the last part of this article explaining this pagan day. So we went through 4 different subtitles of this article. Now, we're going to get to the scriptures. We're about to get to the scriptures. Yes, indeed. And we're going to cut up everything we just read by the way of Yahweh, by Yahweh Shah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So let's go ahead and cut up this falsified, wicked doctrine. Let's go ahead and do it right now. We're going to start off with Proverbs chapter 21, verse 27. The sacrifice of the wicked is abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind? So, yeah. I'm pretty sure Valentine wasn't directed by the Most High to marry all of these young men who were soldiers in secret. And they call him a martyr for that. No. That wasn't inspired by the Most High to do that. Not at all. That was inspired by Hasatan. That was the works of all Hasatan there, because look what it's come to now. The men sacrificing those goats and dogs and then whipping women with the hides. Yeah, that was a wicked sacrifice with the wicked mind. So wicked minds making a wicked sacrifice. The Most High say all of that they did was an abomination. All right. Furthermore, Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Mashiach. So let me ask y'all this. Is Valentine's Day after Mashiach? No. Did Mashiach advocate such a thing? No, he didn't. Did Valentine, when he was doing what he was doing against Claudius II's mandate or his order, when he was doing what he was he doing it in the name of the Messiah? No, he wasn't. He was doing it by his own mind. He felt it was an injustice. So he was doing that by his own mind and his own understanding. Now let's go to what Mashiach has to say about all of this. Book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. So, this Valentine character, inwardly he was a ravening wolf. Because look what the day has come to. He got a whole day after him, named after him, and everybody's making a wicked sacrifice in the name of him. So, yeah, Mashiach has exposed this Valentine character. I'm not even going to call him Saint Valentine no more, because there's no way he was a saint. There's no way. We'll get into it, though. By Ruach Wadash, we'll reveal why. But yeah, no. Mashiach told us to beware of false prophets here in Matthew chapter 7, verse 15. Now let's move on. So this precept here is going to cut all these pastors and religious leaders that are paying homage to this day, or encouraging this day, or participating in this day. Yeah. This precept here is going to cut all of them, especially in those whorehouses called churches. Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 14. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity, to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. All right, so let's relate all that back to this Valentine character. Was Valentine trying to turn away the captivity of the Israelites? What made him a saint? What was he turning away the captivity of the Israelites? Was he telling the lost sheep who they were? He wasn't doing none of that. So how was he a saint? How was he a prophet at all? And are these pastors and these religious leaders, are they doing the same thing? Are they trying to wake up the lost sheep? Are they trying to turn away the captivity of the lost sheep? No. No, they come to their congregations with vain and foolish things, as Lamentations 2 and 14 says. Thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. So they following the whole Valentine's themes in their religious sanctuaries, or they're participating in it themselves. You know they false. They're false. Just like Valentine himself and those who pay homage to Valentine. So they've seen vain and foolish things, and they have not discovered thine iniquity. So they're not offering any type of rebuke. They're not putting out any type of rebuke to cause their congregations to want to change. No, they're just speaking smooth words, smooth things, going with the times. Right? Right, that's what they're doing. But have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. So when you go back to this Valentine character, right? He placed false burdens on all of those individuals he was marrying. So let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something, man. Man doesn't, how can I put this? Man doesn't ordain marriage. Yah does. Yah ordains marriage. Yah created marriage. Man doesn't ordain marriage. Yah does. That is a covenant between a man and a woman. That is a covenant between a man and a woman, and their covenant to honor Yah in that union and to grow together in Yah in that union. Man has nothing to do with that. So they cause banishment and false burdens. Now, let's jump into why this Valentine character wasn't a saint, just like many others who called themselves, many others who had saint at the front of their names, right? All of these figures that have saint throughout history that we hear about, saint this, saint that, saint this. Let's show you why they're not saints. And these are false prophets indeed. Revelation chapter 13, verses 9 through 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience Here is the patience and faith of the saints. It is the patience and saints. Salakia is the patience and faith of the saints. So I'm pretty sure none of these figures that we know of through his story, right? His story. None of these figures that have been forced upon us were advocating such a thing. They were not advocating that the oppressor shall go into captivity. They weren't advocating that the oppressor shall be killed with the sword because they killed with the sword. They weren't advocating that. They weren't standing against their municipality according to that. Let's read it again. Revelation 13, 9 through 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. I don't recall any of these so-called saints advocating such a thing from the Holy Manuscript. I don't advocate Valentine advocating such a thing during his existence, being called a saint. These are false prophets. Saint this, saint that, saint this, saint whoever, they are all false prophets. Because they're not advocating this thing here. They're not telling the ones who are leading into captivity. They're not telling them that they must go into captivity. They're not telling them that. They're not advocating that those who are conquered with the sword must be conquered with the sword. They're not advocating that. Furthermore, what else are they not doing? Let's get to it. Revelations chapter 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yah and the faith of Yahushua. The commandments of Yah and the faith of Yahushua. Ain't none of them advocating that. They had their own doctrine. They all had their own doctrine, which was not of the God of the Hebrews. Let's get further into that. Let's segue into that last statement, the God of the Hebrews. Psalms chapter 147, verses 19 through 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Verse 20. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So, the Roman Catholic Church, they have all these saints, right? They like to make themselves an authority of our holy manuscript, right? They like to call themselves and they like to act like they're an authority of our holy manuscript. But what did our holy manuscript just reveal? I'll read it again. Psalms chapter 147, verses 19 through 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So, were these Roman saints of the Catholic Church, were they of Israel? No. Were they of Jacob? No. They may have been inspired, but they took that inspiration and made their own doctrine and their own religion. Because Catholicism has nothing to do with the ordinances of Yah. It has nothing to do with the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yah. That's a man-made doctrine. Continuing on, Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 19. O Lord, my strength. Let me run that back. O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. So that's all we've heard in regards to this Valentine Day. Lies, vanity, and things wherein there's no profit. There's a whole bunch of lies and vanity in that. As we previously discussed with the Roman Catholics considering themselves an authority of our holy manuscript. Lies and vanity. For reiteration, we'll read it again. Jeremiah 16, verse 19. O Yahweh, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. And I'll leave it right there. And this will conclude the unmasking of Valentine's Day. I encourage you, research it further on your own time. But we expose it from a nutshell. And we cut it up with the sword of the Spirit by the way of the precepts that have just been read. So with all that being said, if you caught this live or you're going to catch the playback, I hope you enjoy the rest of the Shabbat, and may peace, serenity, and prosperity be multiplied unto you all. Shalom.